Good morning, everyone. This is Cumagun, and together with me is my friend Voltaire Versoza. Voltaire Versoza is principal pianist of the Las Vegas Philharmonic Orchestra, and he's now in the Philippines to visit his family. And I took this opportunity to interview him so we could get to know him better. Voltaire, what's keeping you busy these days?
It's a lot of teaching and performing, and actually what you don't know is that besides being the Las Vegas Philharmonic principal pianist, I actually identify myself more as an opera singer. I sing countertenor, and I teach a lot of voice. I teach a little bit of piano, not much actually, a lot of voice. I also play for a church. I teach at a small college in Las Vegas, and I'm just a normal kind of very hardworking musician who does what all other musicians in the United States, what they do. We work very hard and to make the money, and so anyway, that's what I do.
You've mentioned you're also teaching music. How does it go?
I teach at a small college, and I teach a piano class, I teach a voice class, and I am the staff pianist for the school, and this is the College of Southern Nevada. But that's teaching for an institution, but I do a lot of private teaching as well. Just like how the teachers do it here at Lyric Pianos, they have private teachers that teach in the back, but for myself, I teach right out of my home. So in one of the videos you'll see me playing piano. That's my home. That's where I teach.
Can you, for us, encapsulate how you started with your career? How is it now, in a nutshell?
Oh, how I started? Well, I started piano lessons when I was 6 at the Marist School, and where you and I went. And then after that, it was sort of like something that I couldn't stop doing. So, I mean, once you're, I suppose, gifted with the musical bug, as it were, or if you were gifted by God, you know, with a musical talent, it's not something that you ignore. You have to develop it, and it became my passion, which I continued to take lessons even after I left the Philippines to go to Montana, and I just kept taking lessons and discovered later that I had a singing voice as well, and took lessons and went to college for that, and went on to my master's, and then you turn professional. And actually, all throughout that process, you are professional, because once you get paid doing what you love to do, I consider that professional. Doesn't matter how much you get paid. Could be $20, you know, or it could be thousands. And to me, it's all the same. You're still professional either way. So, yeah. But for these days, being professional means that I'm able to pay my bills, you know, doing the stuff that I do, and still loving the process of music making, and with my musical colleagues in the Philharmonic or elsewhere in the community. And even here in the Philippines, I have some friends that I could make music with. So that's for me.
I read in your bio in the Las Vegas Philharmonic that there's a festival, the Bamboo Organ Festival. What was that about?
The Bamboo Organ Festival. This is when I was doing my master's degree in singing, in opera singing, and I'm what you call a countertenor, so I sing very high. And the Bamboo Organ Festival is an ongoing annual festival, I think every January or February, and they feature the bamboo organ, you know, and around that concept of the organ, of that one and only organ in the world made out of bamboo, they invite these classical artists from all over the world to perform at that festival, and I was one of the people invited in the year 1993, and I went on 2 more times to perform as a singer, as a classical countertenor, and that's where I got to make some good friends in the early music field, and got to make those connections, which led to other things. But that's how I got involved in that, and it's a very nice festival. It's what I call definitely a classical music festival. Yeah.
Actually, I got lost track of you when you were in college, and I'm just wondering. My first question was, how on earth you landed on this career? I didn't realize you sang in high school.
Oh no, no, I didn't sing in high school.
Well, not that late after all.
No. I actually did. I knew that I could sing really high. I just kind of like discovered that I could do some more with it when I was 19, and there was this birth of the early music movement, wherein there was a rediscovery of the types of music that they had used in the 17th century, and the countertenor voice was such a voice that could sing music in sort of quote-unquote legit period way of singing or performing a music of that time period. And so I guess it was the right time for me to discover my voice, because then, people could recognize, oh yeah, this is what this is all about. So, but before that, my voice, which is a countertenor voice, was kind of a rare, occurrence, and it wasn't really as popular as it is now because of the early music movement, and that's an ongoing movement all over the world. So, and these days I don't perform as much singing, although I will perform recitals, just from my own artistic development, and I mostly teach voice, and that's really what really floats my voice. I'm really involved in all aspects involving vocal technique and voice science and vocal pedagogy. And that's, if you ask me what really floats my boat these days, it's actually music teaching. I'm very happy with that. So
I hope you will take me up on this impromptu challenge, Voltaire. I myself am not familiar with the voices like countertenor, etc. I'm sure our viewers would like to listen to a sample of a countertenor voice.
You know what? I will send you a clip, actually, of me. It'll represent me more because those are really prepared clips. I really shouldn't show you how that works at this point in time. Although I will tell you this, it does sound more like a woman's voice. Yeah, it's an operatic voice that occurs in the mezzo-soprano or soprano level. For myself, I'm what you call a male alto, or a countertenor. But you'll get to hear the clips. I'll send you those, and those will best represent me. In fact, actually, I'm involved in a recording project of Gabriel Fauré Mélodie and French songs, in which I will record some of those songs with my pianist, and they will be available for people to hear. Yeah, so I think we'll go that route instead of having me sing, at this point. I hadn't sung in a while.
Okay. Of course, it would be an entirely different flavor if you do it a short sound by now.
We'll wait for that.
Okay.
We'll wait for that.
Okay.
It's best, actually, the thing about that is that because of the, how shall one say, there is some sort of, because a lot of people are still not familiar with the voice type, so there is this slight prejudice against the voice type, my voice type, and I would like at every opportunity to present it in the best light possible. So, granted that this lyric store in the Mega Mall is a really nice store. There's lots of nice things here. you would get a better impression of it in the concert hall, and you'd be very pleased with that. So the stuff that I send you, will probably be, representative of that more. So.
Okay. How does one find his talent for music?
That's a difficult thing to say. It's as hard as telling someone, when I teach lessons, you can teach them technique, how to read music and all that, but you can't teach them how to be musical. That has to be organic. But how does one discover? Well, I like to think of it as being God-given. And for myself, it was just, as soon as I found out that my sister played piano, or when I heard her play piano, you couldn't take me away from the piano. I remember when I was 4 years old, I didn't know how to play piano first, at that age, and I would go to the piano, I'd just play, random notes, and I'd just be so overjoyed by that. So by the time my first lesson at the marriage school with Miss Edna Agustines, my very first lesson, I was just hooked. I mean, it was just this complete, feeling alive, and that kind of feeling alive with music is, I think, the sort of organic gift that you look for in a musician. I mean, a lot of people like music and like to perform music and are talented in varying degrees. But for myself, it was something that was me. My dad wanted for me to be a doctor, as all dads want for every son or daughter to be a doctor. That wasn't for me, and so he at one point he called it an obsession. Actually, I called it talent, but this was the route definitely for me, and I'm very happy with it. With all the difficulties, being a musician, what that means, because the life of a musician is not a wealthy life. So through thick and thin, you have to be in love with music, and for me, for a huge part of my personality, that's something that is unavoidable. I'm always in love with music. Yeah, so I hope that persists until the day I die. So yeah. So how to explain how that works for someone? Some kid decides that that they want to play piano, and they go to the piano, and they find that they have a knack for piano playing, and it suddenly just, snowballs into something much, much better. Then the kid has talent, so.
The voice that you chose and the piano orchestral music that you play is not too popular in a way to younger generations.
Oh, the classical? Yeah, it never is. The classical music genre, or classical music in general, isn't really something that'll be as popular as pop music. We can't compete in popularity, with the Britney Spears and with the Madonnas or those types of artists, because there's a reason for why it's called, maybe popular, because the younger generation likes it. But I will tell you this, classical music from time immemorial, or since classical music was quote unquote born, it is an enduring form of music making. It will be there until the end of time. I'm very convinced of that. Why? Because of the quality of music that it is. It is what I will say. It is traditional, yes, and it is the basis for all musical expression, whether it be pop, reggae, R&B, jazz. It's like all forms of dance, or dancers will have their platform, or will base their training, or will start with ballet. Ballet will always be present in a dancer's vocabulary. So in a serious musician's vocabulary, classical music should also be always present. That's my opinion. For you to to reach a level of accomplishment, I think it should be there. Back when I was much younger, it was a lot of practicing. When I was 13, and when I was really involved in piano playing, I would spend something like about 3 hours, during school days practicing, and during the weekends I'd go as long as 5 to 8 hours of practicing, and that was important for my to do that during my teen years. Some people will say if you've not developed your piano technique by 18 or around that age, then it probably won't go much further than that. But it's a lot of practicing. It's a lot of learning music and learning about other musicians and collaborating with other musicians, and then later on taking the courses in college, with a teacher that you trust, to guide you, and all of that, along with your professional or professional experiences, like playing with orchestra or playing with even if it's like a simple job, playing for a party in which they wanted classical music played, and I consider those professional gigs, as it were, and all of that experience at that point in time makes you the musician that you are. If you are a serious musician. For myself, there's a large difference between the way I perceive and learn music at my age of almost 50 to when I was in my 20s. I like myself better. Not that I was unhappy or I didn't like myself when I was 20. I just like myself a lot, these days as a musician. So I'm very happy.
What makes you distinct from other musicians in your field, in your bracket, should we say?
Let's say that again.
What makes you distinct? From other musicians in your field or in your area?
In my field, usually, okay. This sounds like it sounds like bragging, but it's just if I were just being truthful. Usually you will not find it's rare that you find a classical musician with two things in which they do equally well. So for myself, I consider myself a professional pianist, and I consider myself also an equally professional singer. Yeah. So usually it's just one instrument per musician, but having two that you do, well, that's kind of like what sets me apart. So when someone says, "Oh yeah, oh that Voltaire, yeah, oh yeah, he's the pianist who sings really well," or "Oh he's a singer who plays piano really really well too," But when people ask me what I do, my psyche these days, a lot of people know me as a pianist, and I'm okay with that. But really, if you have to ask me what I am professionally, I would say, okay, I'm a voice teacher, and I'm a singer, And the piano playing is something that, if they say, oh, he's a professional pianist, I'm fine with that too. But if you ask me first, yeah, the voice teaching is primo.
So, teaching is really at the heart of what you're doing.
Absolutely. I love seeing a talented singer develop, and hopefully I can impart some knowledge into vocal technique. And also, I also like the challenge of actually of taking in someone who has some sort of vocal injury, and trying to see how much better we could get that. It doesn't become really a professional voice lesson. It becomes more of a, okay, let's see how much of your voice we can put together using proper vocal techniques, so it becomes more functional. Sometimes I like that kind of teaching. That's a big challenge, right? Or if someone has abused their voice, even in an operatic setting, you know, it doesn't matter what kind of songs they sing. They come to me and they say, okay, this doesn't feel, this part of my voice doesn't feel so good. What can we do? And so you, hopefully, you know, for myself, because I have so many friends in the United States who are involved in vocal pedagogy research, and those get and articles, and their articles get, you know, published in the Journal of Voice or some sort of science otolaryngological research. Well, I can't even. I get tongue-tied when I say that. It's too scientific for the likes of me. And I get involved and I talk to these people because it's part of singing that really interests me. So when I get someone who's not so able to use their voices properly, I like that challenge. Yeah. So I don't just take really talented students all the time. You know, I will take in, you know, some students that I think are challenging.
Maybe some of our tuners in are a bit interested in voice lessons now. Would you like to talk to them directly? Let's think international.
Oh, that thing. Well, if it feels good and it sounds good, and you know you sound good, and they think you sound good, then all is well, right? That's the general gist of it. Find a teacher that your personality resonates with, that you get along with. That's half the battle. You have to get along with your teacher. And my advice actually is to, for myself actually, this is just something that I would like to share with people. When I qualify a voice teacher, I always make sure that they know their voice science. That's just one of my requirements. If I were to find myself a voice teacher, they have to know their updated voice science concepts and pedagogy, because beyond, you know, if you don't have that, that's kind of like I don't know. It doesn't, that won't work for me if you don't know that aspect of singing. Yeah.
How would one ordinary student know that the teacher has that kind of a voice science knowledge?
They won't. Usually, okay, here's the thing. If you are going to take voice lessons, if, let's say, you know nothing, but you know you sing and you want lessons, I like to make sure that the voice teacher has a voice degree from an accredited university. You know, for example, if one has a degree from the University of the Philippines in voice, in singing, fine. Take lessons. You probably will learn a lot. Yeah. So that's what I would do. I have some students, you know, I'm urging them to finish their degrees in singing or whatever, you know, because then I tell them, if you do that, if you finish your degree, then I can recommend you, you know, as being someone who is a legit teacher. Even if I know that you can teach without the degree, you know, I have to be able to recommend you to someone to you because you have a degree, because then you can, you know, then something as mundane as the amount you charge, you know, matches the credentials that you have. You know, I have a little bit of a difficulty recommending someone who hasn't had a degree in singing.
What were the biggest challenges of your voice learning process?
Oh, yeah, just the physical growth that your body goes through at every year, or I don't know. I remember when I turned 25, and I went through a voice change, not not something like puberty. It's not nothing like that. I thought that my voice was going to go to tenor instead of countertenor or a high voice, and I was frightened because there was some sort of maturation thing going, because as your body grows older, so does your voice. It's part of your physicality, it's your vocal folds, and as you age, that too will age. Your voice will not be the same. My voice isn't the same as what my voice was when I was like 30. It's not the same voice. It's I sound older, so the high notes are not as easy. So anyway,
Thank you everyone for staying tuned in to our conversation here with Voltaire Versoza. I hope you enjoyed our little conversation, and maybe in a little way we could have made you interested in music, orchestral music for that matter.
Oh, piano.
Piano music, fine, piano music. Stay tuned for more interviews with other guests. This is Cumagun signing out for now.